with the Gravekeeper's cloak. So yeah, I'm really liking this draft from one dub, but you know, I don't think I can go past the way that XG have been playing. So I feel like even though they've got a slight edge in the draft, I think XG are definitely a good enough team and have comfort heroes for them to be able to make this one work.
The one bright spot we have in favor of Monkushi and them, and they're spamming the Team Zero line nice, is that this Morphling has excellent steals for himself. It's really nice. You get some tag team going for yourself, you get some wind run for yourself in the middle of these fights. Hell, even Grave Chill is not to be underestimated. Getting that additional attack speed, man, with a hero like the Morphling, you really start hurting everybody super hard. So crazy hype to see how it's gonna go. We might have a first blood though. Chira Jr. falling afoul over movements from XG into the Radiant side of the map. He gets caught in by the ice shards, killed off, and that's a first blood before the horn even sounds.
Yeah, that's always bad for a Shadow Fiend, right? Like he's such a terrible hero early on in the game where he has some problems, and XG are able to exploit that so far. I'll do some quick predictions for everybody. I'm going to rapid fire. First player to get 50 last hits, I'm going to say XM is going to farm pretty hard. 50 to 175 trees going to be cut. There's not going to be that many trees being cut. Player with highest physical damage at game's end, I feel like is probably going to be Arme. He's going to do... Oh, I didn't put it in. Oh, no. Arme, and then the last one I would have put probably either Arme or XM.
Okay. I mean, man,
sorry, chatters.
I
know you guys
I must say, dude.
Yeah.
This whirlwind facet on Wind Ranger is it's becoming a bit much. It's becoming a bit much. I will be astonished if after TI this remains in the same fashion without getting nerfed.
It's hilarious how it's... I mean, I can't remember who was saying it. Maybe it was Kez who was saying it, Riyadh. It's just, as soon as facets came out, you can just see that some of these ideas, if there was one facet that was just superiorly, like just straight up better than the other facet, the other facet, the bad facet, was always going to get buffed until it was too good. And that's kind of what happened now with the Wind Ranger, right? Like, Whirlwind gets buffed so that now that it's too good. Same with the Sniper Scatter Shot. Like, it's gotten to a point now where it's been buffed so many times that it's extremely good. Morphling Support is another one where it really feels like that one's been kind of put to a position. Same with the Snapfire Full Bore as well. I think that one just recently got a buff. So a lot of these heroes are just getting buffs to these facets that were innately pretty good. Now they've just got a big number change to go, oh, okay, this is just extremely broken now.
Very, very broken.
Yeah.
You know, we have an example at bottom as well, right? Shin-Q with those drinking buddies. Stuff's pretty strong, man. It didn't necessarily get that many changes, but I think people didn't expect how good it would be. When you first read it, you're like, this seems kind of memey. Then you start playing it and you're like, wow, okay, that's something. That's a big difference.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I give my carry 95 bonus damage for 6 seconds. Cool. Like,
and I displace him. I can save him as well with the same spell. Awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I don't have to be on top of the person with the tag team like he used to, which is one of the problems that, you know, Tuss had in the mid to late game was like, oh, I can't stick on top of these people the right target for my carry, but now you just give them a buff that they can hit whatever they want with. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when you're able to just give those kind of buffs to these carry heroes, especially heroes like Mirana and Wind Ranger now that are just hitting so hard and so fast that if you give them a small amount of extra bonus damage, it just means their DPS goes through the roof.
Speaking of heroes like Wind Ranger, we see her laning up in top with this Treant Protector. I will say, on paper, this lane should be not necessarily impossible for Kunkka Snap, but I don't foresee any way you can ever threaten this Wind Ranger. Like, it just feels like she's so secure, so safe, just able to farm for free the way things are right now.
Yeah, I think the fact that they have a relatively strong lane in and of themselves means that they're not just going to get completely bodied out of this lane, which is a big positive for 1W, right? It just means that they've got a strong enough lane that there's probably going to be this handshake between both of these two lanes where they're like, okay, we don't want to be the over-aggressors, we don't want to overstep too much because both lanes can punish that. So it just means that it's going to end up being in a stalemate. So I feel like you're probably going to see a lot more of these two lane combinations going forward in the tournament because of how strong they are.
I will say, it does feel like all of these lanes on the sides for XG are basically farm for free, right? Visage farms for free bottom, Wind Ranger farms for free up top. It's only really the Storm Spirit that has to put in any work towards this mid lane, but Storm Spirit versus SF is also just a fine matchup, right? It's one of those handshakes that you're talking about, so he should be able to farm pretty freely as well on XM.
Especially with the Electric Slide facet, like it's just one of those things where it's like the problem that Storm had in the past pre-6 was the SF most of the time had opportunities to get 1, 2, or 3 races off on you when you're trying to move into the creep wave to get the remnants going. But now with the electric slide, it means that you can kind of throw them from range. I know it's not like a massive amount of range, but it's still enough to mean that you might not get hit by the short and the medium rays. So just gives you that little bit of extra HP to play around with, and a few more of these extra bottle charges, meaning that eventually you get towards the jungle farm a lot quicker, which is what Storm wants to get towards, right? You want to get through that awkward phase of the first couple of levels, be able to go farm creeps, and then be able to go farm heroes a little bit later on, which doesn't really have anybody straight away that he can just instantly hunt, right? Like he doesn't have like a CM or anything.
He's going to get taken out eventually. They actually do manage to right-click through him. It got a little bit dicey there for Cloud. I thought he might end up falling in that situation, but they caught him in between the waves as you're trying to manipulate the equilibrium. They kill him off. That's a pretty big deal. The question is, does he go straight back top, or does he TP like to bottom to maybe try assist on a kill into the clockwork?
I could see. I was going to say I would have imagined that he would have just gone directly mid for DY. He would have given him a little bit of heal with the leech seed, and he just walks back and just says, "All right, mate, you're just going to sit back here. You're going to chill, and then I'll eventually waddle my big old tree butt up top lane." I will probably imagine that there will be a rotation from the clockwork relatively soon for the side of 1W. I feel like they have an opportunity for them to be able to get a few more levels in the cloud and then just try and see if they can kill Arme as many times as possible. Like this Morphling's going to get to the point where he's going to be able to just jungle because XXS will just be able to force him out naturally anyways with these soul assumptions. So once Munkushi is able to just kind of sit back and jungle farm a little bit, I probably expect Respect to make his rotation towards that the top side of the map to kill Arme.
The first support rotation is sort of towards middle. Sweden Strong is here to just ensure that his team is the one that can collect any runes if they come up, get some D-wards around this area. Bottom lane, Respect getting snowballed into. Shinkyu and XXX, they want this kill, and with the soul assumption, they will get it. Okay. Always feels nice, and now we are starting to get to that point in the lane where you're worried about level 2 soul assumption, can always get snowballed and eye-shotted. Yeah, Morphling needs to start playing very, very carefully from here on out.
Yeah, you can see why, you know, it's also gotten to the point where raindrops are available as well, so Munkushi's going to be okay for the next couple of minutes at least, because you don't really want to be... Soul Assumption does take a decent amount of mana from the Visage, so you can't just be spamming out to get rid of those raindrop charges. There is a fight for the power ring, so Sweden Strong.
Yeah, Sweden Strong, he does have the fire snap cookie, gets onto the high ground, but it's not going to save his life. XM, the right click follows him all the way up. He's actually super lucky. Had that missed, he would have ended up living on this Snapfire. DY got eaten up by the blood grenade. Slowed down, slowly but slowly. There's going to be the battery assault. It should be the kill going the way of Chiro Jr. His time not being wasted from the mid lane.
Yeah, as soon as he got hit by one of those races, the Shadow Mire just means that they're more than easily able to catch up to the slow old tree protector. So they at least get a response there for losing Sweden Strong. But the rest of the lanes are going relatively even here. So both teams are probably pretty happy with the opening exchanges so far. Nobody's really had to make any of those big rotations just yet. You can see the Chiro Jr. is just going to try and throw some of these illusions top and see if he can try and bait out a few of these responses from the side of XG, but they are more than happy to just let that fake illusion do its thing. You know, they've got XXS who's able to just freely sit in his bottom lane now. XM's able to just fall back, go into the jungle where a lot of these stacks are. And they're just going to be able to freely do whatever they want on their cores until, you know, there's going to be a lot of pressure from One Win, who I think need to be the ones that need to invade. Because you're going to be happy for the next 10 or so minutes if you're Xtreme to just sit back and farm, considering there is a free lane for XXS.
That being said, though, Chiro Jr. is starting to get up there in the farm department, and we have seen yesterday from the Chinese teams themselves what can happen when this SF is given a bit more free reign. Given that there's a Morphling in the game, though, do you think he's going to be going for still the physical damage output build, or we're going to be seeing the more magic build?
I was thinking that to myself just before, right, where I was like, okay, what kind of build do you want to see out of a Visage this time around? Probably, I would say a little bit more of the controller-orientated one, maybe an Orchid early. There's a fight, though.
Little bit of a fight happening here. I mean, them trying to chase down Chiro Jr. They leash him to the tree. They really want this damage. He dodges the power shot, though, and he's on the high ground thanks to the Fire Snap Cookie. Winding up the Requiem, he lets it go. It's going to connect onto Shinkyu, and this task will end up dead. Chiro Jr. dodges another power shot. What a madman, but he will not be able to dodge the whirlwind. He will end up getting killed off. Cloud, though, looking for revenge. Torrent doesn't connect onto Arme, so he's out. XM, in the meantime, is devastating the backlines with the help of XXX. They've managed to bring down 3. Arme now potentially looking towards Cloud, but doesn't want to take the chance of chasing him up the hill. He's completely out of HP and mana. He'll regen up. Oh, he found a regen rune. Of course he did. Now he gets a shackle shot out onto Cloud. The familiar drops will be there. Do they have the damage? He's underneath the tier 1 tower, so he's fairly tanky. XM dives in after him, and they do end up killing him off. Respect TP'd in to try find revenge, and Chira Jr. Chira Jr. Oh no, a bit too confident of a TP, and he just ends up dead. Back-to-back deaths for our Shadow Fiend. That is not supposed to happen, Flu.
Yeah, it was such an awkward fight. I thought that was going to go relatively okay for the side of 1W, right? The fact that Chira got cookied up onto the high ground. The snowball didn't go after him straight away, so he was still able to get a good Requiem off, but they just didn't have that extra bit of damage there. I feel really bad for Sweden Strong, because that's one of those scenarios. There's probably somebody in chat right now who has had the same issues I have. So, like, you know how Dota has the Z-axis, right? Like how there's verticality in Dota when it comes to, like, seeing up hills and all that kind of stuff. With the scatter shot, it looked like on my screen, I was like hovered directly over the top of Sweden Strong. It looked like his scatter shot should have hit the Wind Ranger, but it just didn't. It just straight up didn't. So I don't know if that was an animation thing or whatever, but if he'd killed Arme there, Arme doesn't get the regen rune, Arme doesn't get back to full HP, they don't take that tier 1 tower, they don't get the extra kill on Shira Jr., and things don't snowball like they are right now.
Yep. Speaking of the snowball, it was deployed onto Respect. They kill him off. That's going to be a tier 1 tower taken. Yesterday, when they played this Visage, he went for Atos, Vlad, Pipe. I think he's probably going to go for a similar build again, with Arme definitely going for the Gleipnir here. But man, this game has gone from bad to worse. You know, early on it wasn't so bad. Just now we're fighting for a rune, but all of a sudden, you're having a tier 1 tower being lost in the bottom lane, a 5k net worth lead basically for XG. Man, this game has gone to hell in a hurry, and it's not barely even 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like you're looking at the XSS's build and you're just like, this is just enables them to go even harder and even faster, right? They've got this early rod of Atos. He's sitting at 6.5 or almost 6.5k net worth right now. He is leaps and bounds above everybody in the game. And he can just keep going hard.
Didn't he just die to this combo, guys? Yep. Have some mercy. They go right in on him. He is dead for sure. Now there's going to be a boat being thrown in by Cloud. Snowball, though, from Shinkyu will be able to dodge and evade it. Requiem, though, should blow up in his face. They might have enough damage to kill him here. Shinkyu getting dragged back by Cloud. He eventually does take a tumble here. But the rest of XG are streaming in. They want to make them pay for this one. They got the Atos out onto Chira Jr. They're getting the SF again.
Oh, no.
Wicked 6 streak for this Visage. Cloud has shown up. He wants to put in some damage, but Arme is here too. Threw in the whirlwind. Cloud already at half HP. With the familiar drops, they're going to take him over to 0. Arme credited with that kill. Respect having respawned, comes back in, has the cogs on the 2. With the Morty's kisses flying in, Arme and XXX will die. An astonishing amount of gold going the way of these 1W supports. The one good thing, Fluke, about being super low level and chain feeding is that when you die, you respawn really, really fast and can come back and help the team.
Yeah, exactly. Sweden Strong got almost 1,000 gold out of that. So they are loving the amount of experience in gold. Also, Munkushi just got a lot of experience just by being around in the area, pardon me. So he's definitely enjoying the fact that he's been a part of a few of those kills. But you can just see that XG feel like and understand like they are very far ahead in the game, right? Like they are just constantly just going forward. They're always trying to find Chira Jr., who is, unfortunately for them, just one of those cores right now where you just don't have the items. You just cannot stand anywhere near where this Dawn Spirit is going to be. You cannot stand anywhere near where this Visage is going to be, because they will just find you and they will just kill you. So things are getting a bit spicy right now just because 1W don't have the cores to fight back the fast pace that XG do. And you can just see a lot of these wards being very, very defensively placed now from Respect. They just need to try and take control of certain parts of their map so they cannot lose all of these towers too early.
They might lose heroes, though, at this point. Cloud did manage to get himself away. Very nice boat combo. Okay, they lose the beat onto both of them. That's kind of surprising. I thought at least one would die, but Cloud is A-okay. He's just happy to be alive right now. Like, thank goodness it's not me. The tier 1 tower, though, unfortunately, will not have such luck. Doesn't have any displacement abilities. It definitely will go down right now.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that they're able to put the drinking buddies on the birds. Like, it's level 3 drinking buddies, so 70 bonus damage to one of the birds.
Holy smokes, look at XM! Diving deep into the triangle, he finds Cloud! And the power shot from Arme clips him and kills him. Yo, shout out to DY who laid out this observer ward which caught the necessary vision, enabling that kill to happen.
It's just going from bad to worse now for the side of 1W. 13 galvanized stacks as well for XM, so he is just freely able to just keep these charges rolling. It's like the days of old for XM. And now they are just taking more parts of the map. You can just see with the only bit of vision that they're able to get for Respect, he's just got this nice little ward up on the high ground, but as soon as DY walks in towards that triangle, it's just not the position that you want to be in here for 1W. And these are mainly the only heroes they can try and fight with. Maybe this is something they can win.
Cloud, he's going to be the first one gone on, so he throws a boat back. It's not going to connect onto any heroes, but it does give him the Coco Rum. And Shinkyu looks like he's being abandoned. Snowball towards Respect. He's going to try drinking buddies himself out of here, but also DY Overgrowth on the backlines catches on to 4. Cloud fell very low, but not killed off just yet. It's going to be Respect instead, who's going to still stay alive a little bit longer. Cloud gone, Respect gone. XM though running out of mana. Can he still keep this clean up going? And he's looking towards Sweden Strong, trying to get him as we see XXX dying towards the west. And XM succeeds in that fight, but he loses his life right afterwards. So it's a 3-for-3 trade. XG got a little bit over greedy on that one, and they end up taking a bad fight for once.
Yeah, just overcommitting underneath the tier 2 tower. They still were able to get a few kills out of it, but the biggest thing is one win. They were able to keep both of their cores alive, right? Like Chira Jr. as well as Munkushi just were able to live throughout the entirety of those fights. So 1W were just able to get the experience and the gold on the right heroes. And you can see now Chira Jr. is going to be building towards his BKB. That means he can just stand and deliver one more time as well. They've got the Metasar coming up here from Munkushi, so he's starting to get towards that position where he will be scary as well. So just need to kind of just take it back a notch right here for Xtreme. They are in a good position still in this game, but they need to make sure that they're not giving away too much more of this gold, right? Because these cores coming in from 1W, they eventually will become very, very scary heroes, and the remaining 3 members will just kind of just be irrelevant and kind of just be fodder for the Morphling and the Shadow Fiend to deal the damage.
Yep. I mean, at some point, this SF is going to have the MKB, right? And then the Swim Ranger not going to really be enjoying life when he has like MKB, Daedalus, whatever, with Satanic. Munkushi is also going to become kind of unkillable, but mostly he's going to be starting to deal out a lot of damage on his own rights. Once he gets the full Kanda, bro, imagine he gets Kanda and then takes over the Visage form. You know how hard that Soul Assumption is going to hit? It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage. So I really hope that that's something that we get to see. Usually when I see a lot of these Grandmaster Morphlings, it is always a very exciting prospect because he is one of those heroes that has such a high skill ceiling that there's a lot of skill expression with how you want to play. So with the Roche coming out now here for XG, I think this is them just kind of understanding, all right, kind of went a little bit too deep in the source. Time for us to take this back. Let's dot our I's, cross our T's, get Roche on. We'll start closing out these tier 2 towers. We'll choke them down with a little bit more of this vision. We'll get control back of their triangle, get control back of their jungle. I'm going to try and choke out this Morphling and the Shadow Fiend because they have given them a little bit of respite for last couple of minutes here, and this is where this net worth lead has not been able to balloon out just yet. Only 3k for the side of XG after getting a rogue.
The respite is ending because they're trying to encroach upon Respect at bottom, but he did have the hook shot. Not enough range for XXX to hit him with the Rod of Atos. Now they have to consider, do we defend this tier 2 tower in the bottom lane? Because they've committed Ame here. And already we see the Storm Spirit heading over. So they want that tier 2 bottom. How badly do they want it to be defended on the side of 1W? I don't know. Is it worth defending at this point?
Probably not, considering a lot of their vision is starting to run out here. They've got some nice deep wards now for the side of 1W. So they could probably just leave this tier 2 tower. They are going to try and fight it. I think they just saw XM on a ward. Yeah, they know that the Storm Spirit's not here. It's a good fight if they can try and find somebody 4v5, but they just weren't able to connect it on Ame. Doesn't have BKB either.
A boat thrown out onto him. It does connect. Morty's kisses are out, but oh no, he gets himself into a better situation. How does he escape from this though? They threw a shackle shot back onto Respect. It connected onto Cloud as well, so no more X marks. XM has now shown up. Wants to put pressure onto Chira Jr. They force out the early BKB. Now everybody else just needs to get the hell out of here. XM going forward. He gets dragged back by the drinking buddies, which might lead to Cloud surviving. No, it will not. Cloud caught and killed. Sweden Song on the bottom side of the fight in front of the tier 2 tower. He has a fire snap cookie, but he knows he's only delaying the inevitable. XM commits the last of his mana for the Vortex, but it ends up being enough. 3 heroes down. And I can get the idea. They still had this very nice observer ward on the high ground. Like you mentioned, they knew XM wasn't there. DY wasn't there at the beginning either. But unfortunately, they just couldn't make it happen in the end.
Yeah, there was also this ward that they had up on the high ground in the jungle here for the side of XG. So as soon as that fight started to break out, there was a lot of vision for the side of Xtreme. And they were able to keep Arme just far enough away that he was able to hold.
He found Chira Jr. all by his lonesome with BKB active. He has a shackle shot. He come in with respect, who throws in the life-saving cogs, puts him in the trap, and Chira Jr. turns it around. He will still end up dying, but he doesn't go down with nothing. Respect right now will get himself caught out, gets killed too, but he definitely did his duty. Ensured that they killed Arme first. Chira Jr. got some golden experience. It could have been much, much worse for the One Whales.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of those scenarios where Arme walked so XM could run, because at this point he's really setting up for the Storm Spirit. Yes, he lost his life, but they got the trade kill back on both those two heroes there for the One Whales. So I'm excited to see how these next couple of minutes are going to go for 1W, right? Because they put themselves in such a good position winning a lot of these fights, but they haven't had Munkushi in any of these last couple of engagements, right? He's getting close towards finishing that Kandra. He's got the Chrysalis to go and then the recipe. So with this Phylactery on board, he's still got that little bit of extra chip damage, but he's just not at that point just yet where he can fight.
Sweden Strong going to be forced into a fight that he definitely does not want right now. He gets himself killed off. You know, by the way, with Tusk, is Tusk just a natural counter to Clockwork? I think thanks to those new drinking buddies?
Yeah. And also a cool thing is with Drinking Buddies is you can toggle it on and off for its ult cast. So you can either have Tusk and the hero get pulled towards each other, or Tusk can get himself inside. So it all depends on how fancy Xingqiu wants to be, but he can either pull himself into the cogs and then snowball out, or he can hope that he's far enough away that the middle point between him and the other hero is enough to pull them out of the cogs. So yeah, I think this Tusk hero is insane the way that it has been interacting with a lot of these drafts as well. Something I didn't really think about going into this game was how strong Drinking Buddies is with the heroes that they've got for Xtreme. Like the Whirlwind is insane to get that extra. How much damage does it give now? 120? Because you got the talent as well, right? Yeah, 120 bonus damage to a Visage Bird. Like, it hits for 170. Like, what? Like, that's going to do a lot of damage, you know? Like, it's a very strong hero, and I think we're going to be seeing it a lot more from these top-tier position 4 players, i.e. Xingqiu.
Xingqiu certainly is the pace setter for what it means to play that position right now. And we're going to take out their Tormentor for the XG lineup. Who's going to get the shot? It's going to go the way of Xingqiu. Oh, of course it goes the way of Xingqiu.
Just keeps on winning, baby. Like, I don't know what else. He's the guy who deserves it. Because I guess DY would have bought his own. So it would have been between him and who? Him and Arme. So Arme one, you're also like not too sad about. I think Gale Force is a pretty underrated shard. I think it does quite a lot of work in a lot of these team fights just because positioning is such an important thing when you get to this this tier of Dota, right? Like, being slightly out of position by like 100 units could mean life or death. So Gale Force being able to redirect that is pretty monstrous in these fights.
Radiant Scan catches out onto DY, so they know that somebody's there, they just don't know who. What they do not know is that the rest of XG are actually smoked up in the other direction to try and catch them, and they will come across them right now. A fight is going to break out. Respect is the first one seen. Rod of Atos to slow him down, and we are losing our Clockwork very, very quickly. Will he eventually die? Yes, he will. Soul Assumption will be there. Munkushi now gets himself zipped onto by XM. They really want to try and bring him down, but Chira Jr. pops his BKB, threatens the Requiem and dissuades them back. And in the meantime, they just right-click down Xingqiu and kill him off. The BKB, though, from Chira Jr. has now expired. Can they catch him? He does find the Requiem, but it barely connects onto these heroes. They do not find XM here, but he's able to zip past all this damage. Shackle shot onto Chira Jr. with Arme on the backlines with the Whirlwind. He kills off the SF, and the Rod of Atos! XXX found Munkushi. This Morphling's not getting out of here either. Respect will do what he can. Drops down the power cogs, hoping to zone them back, but they are still chasing. Arme with the Gleipnir out onto 3. Sweden Strong, the first one to fall from this. Shackle shot out onto Munkushi. He needs to get out of here. He gets himself out with the waveform. XM zips in. willing to expend the mana, and they find the kill as a result. 4 heroes down. XG, last time they lost the fight in this exact area. This time, once you kill Clockwork first, it turns out the fight is much easier afterwards.
Yeah, XG, just understanding that the BKBs are so important for the cause of 1W, right? As soon as they kite out that BKB from the Shadow Fiend, there's not really much that Chiro Jr. can do, right? Like, he popped the BKB, and then he just has to constantly be aware of this Wind Ranger, this Tusk, anything that comes in from DY. Like, it has just been one of those scenarios where XG, I think they were pushing the envelope quite hard in those first, 15, 16 minutes. They're like, okay, let's see if we can push these guys over the edge and just kind of get that critical fight. And now this is where they're showing their prowess, right? They go instantly onto one of the backliners. Clockwork cannot get the hook shot out. They're just forcing a lot of these resources from 1W and not allowing them to get these initial fights where they're able to utilize the BKBs properly. They were able to get a nice little return kill there onto Xingqiu, but as soon as the BKBs are gone, like, what are you supposed to do here if you're the Shadow Fiend? Yeah, you're going to get a Requiem, but at that point, it's just a Requiem to try and save your own life, and there's just too much catch and too much maneuverability coming in from the side of XG, and then obviously DY just being the GOAT that he is dropping a big old fat overgrowth onto everybody. And this Treant Protector hero, man, there's a lot of these heroes that are so very kind of like Chinese heroes that we've seen for a very, very long time. Xtreme Protectors, the Tuskars, like all these heroes are so strong in the meta right now.
Right now we're jumping onto the Snapfire. Definitely not with the best game in the world for Sweden Strong. Been having a tough go at it. We've only seen like, what, 2 usages of Morty's Kisses in the entire game, right? One got cancelled almost instantly, and the one was really good, helped to get some core kills. We'll talk about it in a second because they're chasing after Respect. They want to bring him down. XM zipping after him. Morphling's like, see you later, buddy. You're on your own right now. I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah, they're actually really lucky that they had no vision up on the high ground there, because if XM just had even a whiff of a Shadow Fiend or a Morphling on that high ground, he would have caught them out because he had a full regen rune and 31 galvanized stacks, by the way. His base regen is almost 30 a second. Like, what? He's having a good game. XM's having a good tournament right now, Snare, and it warms my heart seeing a lot of these players just play fun heroes and play heroes that they're synonymous with and really just own. It just has been such a breath of fresh air going into a tournament. Just seeing these guys really kind of dominate once again.
XM is 9-1-13. XXX is 12-2-11. Holy face. Yeah, the homies are playing Dota today.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it really does feel like the XG, they walked into this tournament and they have been, it feels like they've been prepared for everything. They had a good idea about how their drafts want to go. Maybe those first couple of drafts on day number 1 were them trying to just cook a little bit too hard. We even saw it from Team Zero as well. So these Chinese teams like to cook a little bit, but they're able to at least pull it back in a lot of those games for Xtreme, and this is what I think is going to be their bread and butter moving forward. You're going to have these heroes for Arme where he's just playing these range kind of semi-cores, semi-carries that still do a whole lot of damage, your Miranas, your Wind Rangers, Lenas, and all that kind of stuff, and then XM is just going to be on these heroes that can create space for them. And if you're getting Treant and Tusk in every game, you're probably super happy if you're any of these teams, because their lanes are strong. They provide basically everything that you want throughout the entirety of the game. Their build-ups are really nice. They can build auras. They're tanky. They deal damage. They've got BKB piercing disables. Like, what else could you want from a draft? Whereas, for 1W, I'm not saying that their draft is bad. Their draft is also good, but I really feel like this is going to be what XG are going to be playing for the majority of this tournament.
Almost have a Daedalus out for this Wind Ranger. That's definitely going to deal in some work. And Clockwork is laying out some vision on the other side for Respect, but they need to come back home. XG are knocking on the door. XG are really strong right now, so they're gonna not leave until they're absolutely forced to. Look how fast this tower drops. Drinking buddies and Visage familiars, man. All right.
It's like a old school Drow strat, right? Where you would see the birds and you would pop Precision Aura and they'd have like 300 damage each. Now it's just one of them, but it's still just as broken.
I mean, it's a good thing you bring that up because I believe it was TI4 where we started to see the debut on the main stage, or at TI rather, of Drow Visage. So it's only fitting that on the road to this international we get the Drow Tusk, or the Visage Tusk, excuse me.
Yeah, it's just going to be one of those things where teams will find small interactions that, you know, on paper you're just like, oh, you're just giving a Visage Bird like a bit of damage, right? You're like, oh, okay, that's cool. But you're like, oh, this Visage Bird that hits like 5 times a second or whatever its attack speed is, oh yeah, that thing hits for 300 every hit. Yeah, okay, I'm just dead. That's cool. Thanks a lot, Val. So I'm really liking it so far, and I think teams are probably going to be utilizing this Tusk a lot more as well, just because of how strong I think his entire kit really is. BKB's almost done though for Munkushi. I think this is exactly what they're waiting for. Actually, he just picked it up.
He just got it. Yeah.
This is the fight.
All right, Hail Mary time, boys. One whale, this is it. Will they come up like Moby Dick, or will they go down like Captain Ahab? Xtreme goes in, finds Munkushi. They almost kill him off before he can get off his BKB, and they succeed. No buyback for the Water Boy. The Morphling is down.
They're not. They just didn't have a save. This Chira Jr. didn't get the fourth, and now they're all dead too.
Now putting that same punishment onto Chira Jr. The BKB will be there, but Armin with the Whirlwind does not care about your magic immunity. Chira Jr. is dead. Cloud follows him into the grave. And yes, Chira Jr. buys back, but without BKBs, you have your ultimate, sure, but I don't know how you can even approach this team without the BKBs available. And now look, Gleipnir directly onto Cloud. They're trying to force a dieback out of him, while Xtreme is zoning Chira Jr. back into the base. Cloud, unfortunately, will end up dead. Sweet and Strong threw in the conciliatory Morty's Kisses, but it's not really going to have that much of an impact. Xtreme doesn't have Aegis anymore, so does need to be a bit careful. He's out of mana at the moment as well. But while he's busy soloing the one-win lineup, his team is taking out the racks. Mega creeps have been achieved right now for Xtreme Gaming, and they might have one more hurrah fluke. Morphling is up in 2 seconds. Can they do it?
I mean, they don't really. They're trying to build up the souls now on Chira Jr. and Munkushi has got the respawn in. Freshly picked up BKBs. If he's going to use it, they need to get something. They need to show some sort of fight.
Munkushi stole away the Wind Ranger form. The BKBs are still ready. Chira Jr. uses his own BKB. The hook shot onto XXX. He's inside the cogs right now, but they just don't have the damage to do this. Xtreme zoning them back, but yet again, look what XXX is doing. Focused on winning the game, going towards this Ancient, getting the W. GG, well played is called. Xtreme Gaming showing that day one was not a fluke. Day two, they're actually even stronger than they were before.
Yeah, that was a very dominant win from XG going into this this game here. So with 5-1, let me just triple check the rest of the